How often do you find yourself Googling answers or using AI devices like ChatGPT or Grok? Now, the problem is the more that you are outsourcing the answers, the less you actually learn for yourself. And when you're trusting other people more than you trust yourself, this creates a huge deficit and you actually never get the results that you want. My name is Dara Thomason, and this is the Quilter's Coach Podcast 217, How Greed, Why Trusting Others Keeps You from Trusting Yourself. Today's episode is really diving into how to become your own best expert and learning to get different strategies, learning different concepts, and taking those truths, taking those different approaches, but then making them your own so that you become your most powerful, self-trusting human. I'm going to walk you through the process of how you can create those kinds of results, truly learning to trust yourself and stop second guessing and feeling discouraged and upset with anything, whether it's weight loss, whether it's completing projects, whether it's not any goal that you have of maybe not over shopping or over people pleasing, creating healthy boundaries, all of those new goals that you want to create for yourself. It's going to be a super helpful episode, and not only will it help you to accomplish a goal, but it will also help you see why you keep having the same pitfalls and learn how to troubleshoot what's going on for you. But before we go into the heart of the episode, I want to share a win from one of the members in my membership. She works from home, and so she'll need to go do errands for work or just for her family. She loves to go by Starbucks, and she loves to get this pumpkin loaf and the pink drink. Really doing this, it's like rewarding herself, and it's a way to say, hey, you're working really hard, and it's a way to acknowledge all the work that she does. However, the results, the cost of the pink drink and the pumpkin loaf is actually really bad for her. She struggles with her weight and doesn't want to have to carry all this extra weight around. With a 90-day workbook, one of the tools was let's create a list of actual rewards. What are things that are rewarding inside and out? So she had 3. The first one was to go out, hang out with her sister and her sister's husband. That's really fun. It's really enjoyable and everyone benefits. Another one is to read a book guilt-free for an hour, just to hang out, to be with that book and not worry about all the things that she needs to get done. And the third thing she put on her list is to visit with a friend. She has a friend right now who can't get out and is having some troubles. And so being able to talk to her friend and just enjoy that friendship is a true reward. As we talked about these strategies that she's implementing, what she realizes is that these things not only fill her bucket and help her feel relaxed and no longer feel guilty, but what she's doing, she's actually having a true connection. Even though the pink drink and the pumpkin loaf is a connection point, it's not a true connection with herself. The more that she can slow down and see what's really happening, the more in charge she is in her own life. It's just so much fun to watch that progression as she really learns how to trust herself and trust herself around food and on the quality of her life. Let's talk about this idea of how greed. Now, in the coaching call, I talked about pressure. And so many of us are fueled by pressure. And one of the biggest pressures that we have is to fit in, is to belong, is to what we've done traditionally is you say, okay, in order for me to belong, I need to look a certain way. My body has to be a certain size. In order for me to fit in, I have to have a certain kind of house. I need to have certain kind of furniture. I need to have a certain kind of job or degree. I need to have a certain marital status or a certain number of kids. And then my kids need to be a certain way for me to be approved. Maybe in our society, a certain kind of vacation. In the quilting community, it's a certain size of stash or maybe a long arm. Maybe you have the ability to go to different quilt shows. Some people might feel like they have to win quilt shows and have level of ribbons or whatever that is. We have these conditions of, in order for me to be acceptable or to belong or to be a part of this, I have to have this certain status. And so when I put these conditions on myself, then you have pressure to exceed, pressure to achieve that result. The process is really important to getting those kinds of results. If you don't value the process and you just hustle through it or use willpower, or maybe you go to some expert and say, just tell me what to do and I'll just do it. I don't care. I'm willing to do the grind. What starts happening? You put this pressure, and now I have a picture. Imagine, so pressure's on the top, and we can either have good pressure that creates diamonds, or we can have bad pressure. For those of you who are watching, I have this awesome mallet that my son made, and I have this can, and if you hit the can, what does it do? It buckles under the pressure. And so now we have this crumpled up can. And so pressure can be good. Also, if you think about the mallet, if I was a sculptor, for example, I would need a chisel and a mallet to go through this stone and chisel out, eventually knock out the pieces of marble so that we can have the actual structure. So how are we using pressure? Are we using it for good, or are we causing more problems? Let me give you some examples. I have to lose weight before the reunion. Is that good pressure or bad pressure? Or I'm excited to feel lighter hiking this fall. Good pressure, bad pressure. I'll never be happy unless I hit this number. Good pressure, bad pressure. I want to keep my promises to myself. As we look at these ideas of pressure, I want you to ask yourself, where did that come from? When we look at diet culture, we have this external pressure of shame, rules, deprivation, rebellion, quitting, weight gain. Or we have internal pressure from aligned desires such as self-leadership, boundaries, healthy tension, growth, weight loss. When we look at pressure, because pressure is neutral, what matters is how we interpret and use it. Diamonds are created under pressure because carbon is stable and resilient under the right conditions. A soda can crumples because it's hollow and can't hold its shape. The same pressure, very different outcomes. What makes a difference? Structure, support, and internal fortitude. So my question for you is, what has been your process of accomplishing getting results? So I have this idea, and the title of this podcast is called How Greed. And this is what a diet says. It says, I'm the expert. I'm going to tell you what works best for you. You just listen to me. I'll just tell you what to do and you'll have success. And so now you have this relationship where you are not learning and creating these successes for yourself. And you're abdicating this learning, this process making to other people. So I want to think about your growth. What are the things that you can do now that you didn't do before? So I was thinking about piano. So if you were like me with piano lessons and you just were focused on memorizing, how did that result? Can you sight read very well? Do you understand music very well? Or do you can just memorize? What about free motion quilting? Have you given yourself the opportunity to learn to free motion quilt? Have you allowed yourself the opportunity to build a foundation, learn the basics, and then build on that? Have you given yourself the opportunity to fail, to practice, to start learning that muscle memory? If we're constantly asking someone to tell us what to do, when to do, and how to do it, it takes us out of that discovery of what works best for you. This idea of how greed happens in every area. We have, whatever you're learning new, whatever thing you want to achieve. The problem that I see, and the situation for me, is we are in a very noisy world. There are a lot of people all promising to give us results. Okay? I told you my embarrassing situation with my Instagram coach last year and how I fell into this low failure tolerance and also this how greed of just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And the whole year, that's what we did. We played that game where she said, quilt a quilt, do this, do that, do this, give quilting tips, do this, do that. In my mind, I did it. I worked hard. But what I didn't do is I didn't let myself be a beginner. I didn't let myself figure it out. I didn't let myself be creative and bring my own personality to all of it, just like I did with weight loss. I'm just going to end with part of why I'm so good at weight loss. In the past, I would just follow what other people told me what to do. When I was knitting socks, I didn't want to learn how to read a pattern, to be honest. I just wanted to just know how to knit socks. I didn't want to have to do the work of figuring out how to read a pattern. I just thought, if someone just shows me what to do, I'll just do it. That works if she's sitting right beside me. But as soon as I come to any problem or any question, I don't know what to do because I don't know how to read the pattern. I don't understand. I don't have a foundational understanding of what's going on. So this is what I did with weight loss. I was like, okay, I can follow this plan if I'm like tempted or if I'm going to a party and it doesn't say chocolate cake on there, and then I fail, and then I just sabotage myself. That's not sustainable. It doesn't work. When I finally decided in 2018, when I got a life coach, and I said, I really want to lose this weight, she taught me how my brain worked, and she taught me how thoughts worked, and she taught me how you get your own results from your thoughts. When I understood that I needed to be willing to feel feelings and to slow down and look at my thoughts, I also was willing to look at my relationship with food, how I use food, how I overate at dinner because I didn't want to feel my feelings so much, how I turned to coconut and peanut butter and condensed milk and chocolate because I wanted to get that hit, that dopamine. When I could slow it down and understand what was going on, I learned that I could trust myself around food. I didn't need to know how. I just needed to know how it worked for me. And so since 2018 and doing this work, so for example, on Sunday, today I'm recording this on a Thursday. Sunday morning, I think I was like 157 pounds. Then on Monday, I was 160 pounds. And I was like, whoa. Usually I'm in 155 is kind of my average. So I can go down to 150, I can go up to 160. But when I'm in the up to 160, I'm always like, oh, Dara, what's going on? So I'd had a joy eat. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then today is Thursday, and I was 157. So I'm down 3 pounds because I'm focusing on the things. I'm focusing on protein, fiber, and making sure that I only eat when I'm hungry. Also sleep. I have all my things. I have all my process. And so I now, because of my ability to figure out what works best for me, I can now go down. So tomorrow I'll probably be back to 155. And that's where I like to be. It's comfortable for me to be 155. And the reason I can do that is because I'm the one who created the result in the first place. It's like I'm the scientist. So if you're ready to take the reins and you're ready to actually do this and not rely on all these experts, so instead of sitting beside someone who knows how to knit socks and you have to sit there all the time and say, okay, what do I do next? 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 You can actually know what to do next. And if you slip some stitches and you have a problem, you can figure out how to troubleshoot it because you have a foundational understanding. And that is my invitation for you today. My invitation for you is to start the foundation. I have what's called the 90-day plan. Let me tell you what it is. So there's 5 pillars to permanent weight loss. The first one is that weight loss science is simple. So you learn all the science. It's very, very simple. There's like 4 hormones. There's how we store fat. How do you tap into this fat storage? Simple, simple. And then the second pillar is make your own eating plan and troubleshoot it. So now you say, I think this is how I should eat. And then you start eating that way. And then you get results. And then you see how you tweak it and so now you're in charge. You don't have to always be going to an expert. What do I need to do? No, you're in charge. And then the third one is you feel your feelings instead of eating your feelings. So instead of going to the spoonful of peanut butter because you're sad, you just sit there and be sad. Or instead of going through the drive-thru at Wendy's and getting a Frosty, you're just sad or frustrated. You just let yourself feel the feels. And there's a whole process. There's several tools that will help you with that. And then the 4th pillar of permanent weight loss is taking responsibility for yourself. So instead of shaming yourself, like, oh, I'm not good enough, what's the point? I'm never going to learn, I'm such a loser. Or blaming, so I blame the Canadian Food Guide or the American Food Guide. They mess me up. Or I blame the industry, the movie stars and all that, and these are plastic surgery. There's unrealistic expectations for any woman's body, okay? So we learn how to work through all of that with a tool called emotional adulthood. And then the last pillar of permanent weight loss is self-confidence. So what I've done is I've taken these 5 pillars and I've broken them down into little micro steps, little tiny steps. And we do those over 90 days. And all you need is just those 90 videos. They're 5 minutes, average 5 minutes. And every day you get one, just one video. And then you have a little evaluation sheet, little tracking, and then the next day, another video. And you just start building your foundation and understanding of what's actually required for permanent weight loss. And so you can just do this on your own. You can, when you sign up, you can have this 90-day process sent to your email box. And you get 3 coaching calls a week with me or one of my coaches to help you implement and troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. It's incredible. It's amazing. I love my membership so much. And so one of the reasons I have my podcast is because it's weird to be like, oh, I heard this girl, Dara, I'm going to pay her $2,000 right away. No, that's kind of like you meet someone, you're like, hey, you want to get married? It's just a little much. So the podcast is a way for you to say, you know what? I really resonate with this girl. And then you can binge listen to these podcast episodes. And the more you listen, the more things make sense. And you're like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. No, weight loss isn't because I'm not smart enough. Weight loss is a lot more complicated. It's about feelings and emotions. And I wasn't taught to feel my feelings. I was taught to eat my feelings. Oh my goodness. What she's saying makes a lot of sense. I think I should join her membership. But I have a few questions. So that if you're in that state, then all you need to do is book a chat with me. It's called a curiosity call or a consult. And I am able to answer questions for you. I'm able to troubleshoot some things. And we can have this conversation about what does that look like? What are your specific issues? I can tell you if working with me in my membership is a good fit. Or I can tell you, hey, you know what? It sounds to me like you might need a therapist because you have a lot of, maybe there's some sexual abuse there, and or you work with me one-on-one. But this is the thing that I want to invite you and I want to impress on you. As you're listening, this comes out on September the 18th. 2025 is almost over in a sense. It's one more quarter. If you don't stop doing what you're already doing, you're never going to change. And so my invitation for you is, hey, I hear you. I see the problems you have. And so when you come to a coach, you actually start seeing what needs to happen. What do you need to change? Today, I got coaching by Jody Moore. I also got coached by my own coach. And he brought up something that I was like, oh my word, I did not see that. It was shocking. I see this pattern that you have. And I was like, what? It was awesome. I was like, oh, thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize I was sabotaging myself that way. I didn't realize I was doing that terrible pattern. It's a good thing that I hired you as my coach, because now I'm going to be able to overcome that obstacle and then I can move with my goals. And the only way that I'm going to be able to be successful and do it is by me working it out and getting help by a coach. Just like my boys, I can't go play basketball for them. I can take them to their basketball games. I can sign them up for extra coaching. I can get them really good basketball shoes. I can take them to the church and the gym and encourage them. I can cheer them at every game. I can do all of that. But I can't play for them. It's the same thing for you. I can't do it for you, but you can. But if you are always waiting for someone to tell you what to do, then you're never gonna change. So this is me advocating for you to say, whether you work with me or with a therapist or another life coach, my invitation is come and talk to me. And let's make a decision, because being on this treadmill of life, doing the same thing over and over, it's not getting you the results you want, and it's not giving you the health, the quality of life, and the connections with people that you really want. A pumpkin loaf and a pink drink is not going to make you happy. Going out with your sister and her husband, or reading a really good book for an hour, or visiting with a friend, that's what's going to make you happy. And as a life coach, I help you change the pink drink and the pumpkin lie to the let's have real connection. That's my job. I help you create your own success in weight loss through processes like the 90-day workbook, which is starting and which is always available. My membership is a lifetime membership. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. I'm just so thrilled for my clients. Every time I see them like creating these wins, it's just so awesome for them. Not only is it so awesome for them, but it's awesome for if they're married or for their nieces and nephews, their cousins, like their friends, because they get a better, healthier version of them who has more energy and less drama. So if you're ready for more energy and less drama, come and talk to me.
If you aren't loving your current life and hear yourself saying things like, I should be happier, I should be getting more done, or question how productive and fulfilled you are, this podcast is for you. I'm Dara Thomason, professional quilter turned life coach for quilters, where I show you how to overcome obstacles like perfectionism, people pleasing, overeating, overcomplicating life, so that you can really start to enjoy your life by learning and using tools for your brain to help you transform your everyday living. Are you ready to make these changes? I'm ready to help. Let's start your transformation one UFO at a time.